Are back with the CEO of the world's largest bond fund, Mohamed El-Erian, but also joining us with the White House take on all of this is Gene Sperling. He's the director of the National Economic Council and also assistant to the president on economic policy. Mohamed and Gene, great to have both of you, these two perspectives. Gene, let me just toss this first to you. A lot of my guests this morning have been saying, look, we need to see some sort of action, some policy action coming out from the White House on jobs. What does the president hope to accomplish next week in his speech on the jobs market?
Well, look, there's no question we need stronger job growth, stronger growth overall. That's why the president called for an urgent speech to the Congress to make very clear we've got to put the economy and our workers ahead of politics and partisanship. And the speech he will give on Thursday will lay out in significant details a meaningful and economically significant program that, if passed, would have a significant impact on both job growth and overall growth over the next 16 months.
What will be different about it? What will he, and I know you can't give the details, obviously, that's up to the president, but what is going to be different than what we've heard from the president in the past on job creation?
Well, obviously, you're right. I'm not going to get ahead of the President of the United States, but I will say that we're working very closely and looking at all different options. And it will, again, this will be an economically meaningful program that he will be announcing. And it will focus on tax cuts that will help workers as well as small businesses. It will focus on rebuilding America and putting people to work doing that. And there will be a significant strategy targeted at those who have been unemployed for far too long. These are some of the things we have to do to get the economy going, to get the recovery taking greater hold, getting job growth going. And this is obviously part of a larger vision about how we have to come back from what was obviously the worst financial recession since the Great Depression and get ourselves on a stronger footing. So we also are investing in the future and getting back to the long-term competition we need for our economic growth.
Mohamed, are you hearing what you need to hear?
I'd like to hear more details. And Gene, a question about the framework or the mindset, if you like, governing your policy formulation. As you know, there's a big debate going on. How much of this is cyclical? How much of this is structural in nature? If you look at this, how close are we to this unemployment crisis being so embedded in the system that it makes your job very hard?
Well, I think there's no question that when you inherit the type of financial recession this president did, there is no question that almost in every advanced country it has taken longer to come back. It's a deeper hole, and you have the layover of the financial recession, and you've got to take very, very serious action. And I think we all should worry about having too many of our people out of work for too long. And that's why when the president does put forward his proposal, there will be significant measures that are dealing with those who've been unemployed for 6 months or longer. And I think that has to be a very important part of any comprehensive strategy. And I think it's just so important that whether or not everybody agrees with each item in the president's plan that he'll announce, that they understand the imperative that we have to do something on job growth now. We have to do something more urgently, and we cannot allow the normal politics and partisanship to stand in the way of what is a clear need for a real boost to job growth in the economy right now.
You know, Gene, a fair question that's been asked is, why didn't Obama come out with this sooner? You know, a lot of people have said, and these are Obama supporters who've said this to me, is that, you know, the administration was too distracted right from the beginning with trying to get a health care bill passed, and they didn't pay enough attention to the jobs market, and look at where we are now.
There's just nothing that's particularly accurate about those critiques. I mean, the president put forward a major $800 billion Recovery Act, passed it in an incredibly fast period of time. We now know that what he inherited was a far deeper recession, 8.9%, nearly 9% loss of growth in the fourth quarter of 2008. People like Mark Zandi and Alan Blinder have estimated that job growth could have been 8 million worse in 2010. CBO suggests it could be 3 million jobs worse right now had we not done those things. And what the president was doing every day this summer was fighting to get a comprehensive package, greater long-term certainty, and more on things like payroll, tax cut to make sure we're giving a boost to economic growth now. That's what he was fighting for this summer.
Gene, thank you. I really appreciate you joining me. Gene Sperling, the National Economic Council.